Hey guys, so I'm at my salon right now, and today we're just going to be talking about reopening, what that's going to look like, and what are we going to do differently for our clients, and what are we going to make aware to them when they come back to the salon. Are we going to ask them to wash their hands before we start the service? Are we going to get rid of our coffee station? Are we going to spread out a little bit more? All of that is stuff that we need to consider before we open back up. And actually, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was spreading out stations, because that's actually a really good idea, and I kind of wanted to show you guys my salon and how that might work. So at my salon, our salon is pretty big. You can see here that we have this whole row, and then we have all of this here, and actually even, where are we? Like way back in that area, there's a few salons too, or a few stations too. So one of the things that I heard today, and I'll get into it more who I was listening to, Toby Price, but one of his suggestions was actually spreading out stations to try to like social distance a little bit while we're kind of going through all of this. And so he was saying that maybe we don't work station right next to each other, but maybe we try to spread out a little bit. And I don't know if you guys are capable of doing that, but as far as our salon is capable, we have like this station that's empty, we have that station, so we would be capable actually of spreading out stations so that way we're not like right next to each other. So I forgot to mention that in the little video that I was the second part of this, but I just wanted to throw that in there also, because I feel like that's something that people should take into consideration. If you're able to in your space to separate a little bit more, then that might be something that you want to do just while we're going through this, and just the start of reopening. Just try to space out a little bit more if you're able to. Okay, so on to the second part of the video. Hey guys, I hope this video finds you staying home and staying healthy, and I really hope that we all get back to work as soon as possible. So for me, it's probably been about like 3.5 weeks or so, and I'm just like itching to get back to the salon. I really miss all of my clients, and I know how hard this really is on all of us. So some of the things that I wanted to go over today is actually, what is it gonna look like when the salons reopen? I'm currently at the salon right now. I just got done contacting all of my clients through the rest of April, because I just wanted to let them know, like, I know you're well aware, but the salon is still shut down. So I recontacted all of them, and I also went back through and contacted my clients from March, just because I wanted to let them know when the salon is supposed to be reopening, and try to give them like a heads up on booking appointments, since they've been waiting longer than anybody else to get in. So I wanted to give them the opportunity to try to book an appointment before my other clients do. So that's what I was doing today. Another thing that I did today was try to listen to more vlogs and more like informational things from other stylists. And one that I listened to this morning was from Toby Price. I don't know if you guys are aware of who he is, but he is a Paul Mitchell educator. He actually is local to my area. When I was going to school to become a cosmetologist, he was actually going through the instructor training. So we kind of like went to school together, but for two different like parts of it. He has a really great personality. Like, he's really fun. He's just like has a lot of great information that he puts out. So one of the things that he was doing today was just kind of talking about what is it going to look like when we reopen the salons. And some of the stuff that he was saying was, do we put out a code of conduct for our clients? And that actually like made me think a little bit, like, what are you guys planning to do when we reopen? What does that look like for your salon? I was talking to our salon manager, just trying to like give ideas and try to figure out like what does that look like for us. And some of the things that he suggested were actually pretty thoughtful, and like it makes sense. So one of the things that he was saying is, do we put a letter like at the reception area when clients come in, they can see like client code of conduct, stylist code of conduct, and just inform them like stuff that we already do, but maybe actually make it like aware to them, like, hey, Before every client, we just want to let you know that we are washing our hands, you know, taking the steps to like sterilize all of our tools that we're using. Do we make further steps and like bleach down our station, our chairs and all that stuff if we're not already doing it? And do we maybe put a note at our station letting clients know that these are the steps that we're taking, or do we put it at the front? Like, what are the things that we're going to be doing to let the clients know when they come in? Like, we want to make sure that you know that we're taking care of everything we need to prevent the spread of germs. Another thing that he suggested was to ask client before the service starts, like, hey, can you please take the time to go back and wash your hands before we start the service? Like, us as stylists, I know that we wash our hands between any, you know, between our clients, and usually after we like apply color and stuff, we're usually pretty actively like scrubbing our hands down. But do we ask your clients between services to wash their hands before we start the service? That was also another good question. And if we don't ask them to wash their hands, does that mean that we have, you know, hand sanitizer at every station available to our clients to make sure that they utilize it before we start the service? Another thing is not to bring any company with them to their appointment. A lot of times clients will bring their kids with them to the appointment, and I just feel like right now is not the time that clients need to be bringing their kids or boyfriend or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of time that clients will bring their kids, and I feel like right now we just can't keep track of them. Like, kids are just all over the place. They're just touching so many different things and putting their hands in their mouth and then touching magazines and all that stuff. And I just feel like we are not in control and we can't see what they're doing. And I feel like keeping your kids at home is just the best idea. Another thing is removing the magazines. And that, honestly, like, you cannot take the time to go through and like bleach wash every page and like sterilize every page and everything that is being touched. And you know, when you read, you're like, you know, flipping through the pages. And I think it's just a good idea to get rid of magazines right now. And I totally agree with that. I think we are going to, personally as our salon, we're gonna go through on our Instagram and our Facebook page, and we're gonna go through and just let clients know, like, hey, these are the steps that we're gonna be taking. We're not gonna be having any reading material for your appointment, just to, you know, prevent the spread of germs. But please feel free to bring in your laptop, tablets, you know, whatever you choose to read on. You're more than welcome to bring those devices in. And honestly, right now, a lot of clients do anyways, but I think just to make them aware, like, hey, we won't be having these, the magazines here for you. I think that's a good idea to just inform them ahead of time. So a lot of clients will take the time to come in when they're not feeling well. And I think we really need to make it clear to our clients that if you even have a runny nose, if you have the sniffles or whatever, like, please just reschedule at this time. That puts us at risk of getting sick, and then like all of the rest of our clients that we have for the rest of the week or for that day or whatever. So I think when clients normally would take the time to say like, oh, I'm taking the day off work because I don't feel good, let me go get my nails done, or let me get my hair done or whatever, because maybe they just have the sniffles, so they're gonna call in. But I think really, like, just stay home. Like, don't put me at risk. Like, just stay home, even if it's just for like something minor that you normally would be okay for. You know, just be thoughtful of other people, and, you know, try to prevent spreading sickness as much as possible. When I was calling my clients, I was kind of looking around to just get an idea, like, what can we do around here to try and, you know, be on top of keeping clean and sterile and sanitize as much as possible and prevent spreading of any sicknesses. And one thing that I think is so huge right now is the coffee area. Go look at your coffee area in your salon and think about, if my client is grabbing coffee, like, are they gonna touch anything that anybody else has already put their hands on? And I know personally for me, like, when I'm grabbing a cup for water or whatever, I will grab the top of it, but like, if it's not gonna pop off like the first like few little shakes of trying to get the cup up, then, you know, you grab the base of the cups and then you pull it off. Well, now you're touching like the rest of all those coffee cups or whatever. And I just feel like we need to get rid of the coffee station right now, because another thing too, besides just the cups, is the straws, all those black straws are just sitting in there together. If you're gonna touch one of them, like your hand is probably gonna touch a few others, or your fingers might touch it or whatever. So that's another thing. And as much as we just have like the single little coffee pods, that's fine. But like, it's also the creamer that we use too. We have a pump, and so it's like if you're going through and pumping the creamer, chances are clients are not like sterilizing the pump every time they use it. And personally at our salon, we don't have a receptionist to like take care of that stuff, and we also can't be in control and really see how much clients are using that and go up there in between every client and sterilize the pump. So I just think right now, like getting rid of the coffee station is also another good idea that we need to take care of. Anyways, those were just some ideas that I thought we need to look forward to, and what do we need to do to utilize in the salon to make sure clients know that we're trying to be as clean and as cautious as possible. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I'd really love to hear what you think, if you have any suggestions. I mean, salons really don't open up for another month. There are other salons in other states where they got extended till June. Like, I honestly can't imagine that. I mean, like, that thought just like freaks me out, because that's like over like 2.5 months of like not working. I feel like the financial part of it, like if this isn't eye-opening for you as a stylist, like especially if you're booth rental, like I feel like it's so easy. Like if you have a good day and you're like, dude, I just made like $1,000 today, like I'm gonna go shopping and there's like this purse and these jeans and shoes and all that stuff. Like that's not how I am personally. But I know that there are a lot of stylists that are that way, where they just think they just made a killing today, and so they're just gonna go spend all their money or do all this other stuff, where it's like, I think right now is the time that we need to realize like our finances need to be a big priority, to make sure that we have like a few months in advance, because who would have ever thought that we wouldn't be working for like 2.5 months straight? Like this never would have occurred to me. Another thing too is like, one of the things that we were taught in beauty school is the industries that are gonna stay like going strong in an emergency, or if the country like takes a hit, is like bars, because people will drink when they're happy and when they're sad, and also the salon industry, because people will always need to get their hair done. Like that's what we were taught when we were going through beauty school, is that our industry is like, we'll always be okay. But here we are, like nobody had any idea that months was gonna go by before we like that we're out of work. So that's so interesting, you know, and eye-opening actually, to like see that we're not guaranteed an income more than anybody else. And one thing that I think is kind of sad is that I've seen people say like they're rethinking, you know, joining this industry because they didn't know that they were gonna be put out of work. But keep in mind, everybody's put out of work right now. If you're not in the healthcare or working at a grocery store, like you're pretty much home. So I don't want people to look at this and say like, I am not ever gonna get into this industry because salons are closed down right now. If anything, I think it's just good to be more cautious of what you're saving, not just for taxes, but like in case of stuff like this, to make sure that you have rent taken care of, or, you know, if you're booth rental, or that way, you know, you have a nice huge chunk of savings for when stuff like this happens. Because personally, like I know that I can develop a pretty good savings from my income, but it has to be like a conscious decision. Like I'm setting aside 20% every day for my taxes, and then also 10% every day in case something like this happens. We need to be really aware of how we're taking care of our finances, because I feel like hairstylists in general, like this just isn't a strong point for the majority of us. So anyways, that's just some stuff to keep an eye on. If anything, this makes me feel more secure in the industry that I actually have a really strong passion for. So money or not, this has always been something that I wanted to get into, and I have been a part of this industry for like 17 years. But this is really eye-opening that even in a time of emergency, like clients still want their hair done. So if that doesn't tell you that this is an industry that is going to be strong and, you know, thriving, assuming that we don't have to be put on hold, like clients right now, even though illness is at risk and not working, this is still something that they will spend their money on if they can. So I feel like this is just, it's just so interesting to me. Like, I don't feel like I'm essential, but a lot of my clients feel like I should be essential. So anyways, just a lot of thoughts and a lot of questions, and, you know, eye-opening as to when salons reopen, like how are we gonna go about taking care of our clients and making sure that they know that we're taking care of making sure everything's sanitized and sterilized and preventing the spread of germs and all that stuff. But again, if you guys have any suggestions as to ideas that you guys are going to do when you guys go back to work in your salon, how are you gonna let your clients know that you're taking care of things, and what are you going to be doing different? I would like to know, because again, we all have good ideas, and I feel like if we share those ideas, then that will just help every other, you know, stylist out, and it will give us better ideas on how to take care of our clients. So please leave comments or suggestions in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys think about it. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys are all feeling healthy, not getting sick, staying home, and don't forget to like and subscribe.